Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here with Michael Sands. This is the Unbusy podcast show, and today we are pulling apart the essential tasks that an executive assistant can be doing to unbusy you. Alrighty, now we're talking about Ina, who is an EA that's just been recently employed by Michael, and Michael has placed Ina under him to personally train Ina before she's placed into an office or under a real estate boss or something like that. Now, so again, Ina is for hire. If you want to talk to Michael about Ina or anyone else, just go to unbusychat.com. That's unbusychat.com. Now, in the last two episodes, the first one, we talked about Ina's background when she came to us, and she actually came to us from an insurance background, insurance industry, in corporate, and also having done some EA work. And I think we went through in there the little nuances, the little things that just made us realize that Ina was executive assistant material and not virtual assistant material, because virtual assistants can be very transactional in their thinking and not thinking outside of the square. Executive assistants are next level up. In the last podcast, Michael, we talked about training Ina around email management and diary management. Now, today, we're going to talk about the all-essential meeting management. Now, Bev, my EA, who is also placed remotely, my goodness me, I just... when there's a meeting on, Michael, it's in my diary. There's a Zoom link that's automatically in my diary appointments. All I have to do is open up the Zoom client box. It's a client management box that comes with Zoom, and all I have to press is join at the time, and I'm in the meeting, and I'm not doing any other work around that. And this is what Bev does for me. So, Michael, let's pull this apart and talk about how are you training Ina around meeting management with what needs to be done?
Yeah, this was always a difficult thing we saw with business owners, and being in meetings, not taking correct notes, not knowing where they're at, not following up actionable content and directions in meetings. With Ina, what we had been training her to do is sit in on our meetings, and the idea there is to not miss a beat. But prior to that, Ina controls my diary. She controls my email. So, Darren, you email me and say, hey, Michael, I need to catch up. Or you've sent me a Calendly request and it doesn't quite fit a time that I'm available. Ina will navigate with you and put you into my diary, right, at a time that's convenient for both of us. Now, Darren, as you know, there is sometimes a lot of back and forth trying to find an ideal time. It's just relentless, and I don't have the time to go back and forth. Oh, how are you at Wednesday, 10 o'clock? Okay, what about Thursday, 4 o'clock? What about Friday, 10 o'clock?
This is all hack work that drives me insane. This is the balling chain in my leg, and particularly when we brought on Bev as my EA, all the things that I was doing around my inbox. And if I want to have a meeting with a person, it's phone ping pong, message banks. I call them, they're not there. Go to message bank, they call me, I'm unavailable, and it's got that crazy stuff. Or if it's by email, which is preferable, then it's the back and forth and the time delays between the back and forth, and then the back and forth may stop without actually a meeting happening because it just dropped off someone's radar, and you've got to go and contact them again to pick it up. And it's all of that annoying stuff that Bev just does for me.
Yeah, it's so convenient and so easy. And like you said, you just press join and you are in the meeting. So all that hard work is done. And also, too, we're all busy. And so if you're a real estate business owner and you're trying to book new leads into your diary for Zoom catch-ups and events, you need this help. But in the meeting, Darren, like, we're training Ina on how to take notes. And, so there's a lot of active listening. It's not just sitting in the meeting, it's actively listening. And it's actively listening for actions such as, so Darren, what I'll do is I will send you this information kit. It'll be on your email in the next 30 minutes. Also, Darren, I'm going to drop into a Google Drive some documents. And I'm also going to send you, Darren, a link to this news article that I read last week, which I thought was really relevant and you're going to appreciate. So as I'm just going through the natural course of a meeting, I'm pointing actionable content there. The expectation is Ina's listening to that and they're being done. with the idea that it's already done before the meeting is finished. In
But
most cases, right?
The old way is, well, now you've got workload happening after the phone call or the meeting that you have to do that's going to stop you then getting to the next productive task that you need to do. So this is, again, everyone, the weeds work, the ball and chain work, the hack work that is essential to what you're doing, but can be done by someone who's a lot cheaper than what you are per hour. And if you look at what your cost is per hour to the business, is probably hundreds, several hundreds of dollars an hour at least value that you bring as a boss to the business, whereas you can get this work done, the same level done for under $20 an hour with a fully trained executive assistant based remotely.
Yeah, it's highest and best use of time, Darren. Like my highest and best use and your highest and best use is not doing the grunt work of booking people into the meetings. And Darren, most actual professions that have admin support have their admin do a lot of the grunt work. They come in, highest and best use, they deliver high value content, and then they're able to move on to the next customer and the next customer. You go to a doctor's practice or a dental practice or a veterinary practice, or a legal practice. You go in, admin facilitates everything. Then the expert walks in, delivers the highest value content of their time, maximizing their worth, and then they go on to the next client. And all the other smaller tasks are being actioned. I guess the difference here is, Darren, if you're in a vet clinic, if you're in a legal practice, if you're in a real estate office, that's an expensive person to have sitting on a seat. Outsourcing significantly reduces those costs, and you get to have someone that is at your beck and call every day.
Now, Michael, I'm thinking if you're out on the road and doing appointments, let's say you're doing a face-to-face, okay, it's not by Zoom or anything like that. Everyone, you can just record. Just open up Zoom on your phone. You can do a recording, so the actual meeting is recorded. It's saved in the cloud, so your EA, whoever it is, can access it and then pull it apart if you're giving instructions in that of what needs to be done. So you're not doing that follow-up, or you simply just Zoom your EA in, or we use workplace chat as well, or whatever way. It doesn't have to be by a normal phone. It could be by data phone or WhatsApp phone or whatever, and have your EA at the end of that call. Your phone is open. You've let the other person know in the meeting that, you've got your EA on the phone. They're listening in. They can record it. And so you can have, instead of an EA physically with you, they're remotely with you through easy communication on your phone, so they can then note down, or you can say, hey, Ina or Bev, can you make sure you do this as part of your conversation? And you're probably going to impress the other person as well on how organized you are, that you've got your own executive assistant. It works really well.
I like to, two other things that I like is that we have a lot of meetings on Zoom, and we get into Zoom and sometimes the person's not there, right? And we're trying to finish up our work. So what I would have Ina and even our previous EA Charlotte do is that they would let me know when the person is in the room. Hey, Michael, you can come in the room now. Darren's coming to the room. So then I know that I can keep doing whatever I'm doing and jump in. And the other thing that I love about having an EA who's managing my meetings and my diary is, if I'm caught up in a current meeting or I'm on the road in another meeting, they know where I'm at and they know if I'm delayed. Having someone pick up the phone and say, hey, Darren, Michael's running 10 minutes late. His meeting's gone over. Still the same Zoom link. Everything's fine, but it just pushed back. Yep. So much better than like someone turning up and no one's in the Zoom room there.
Yeah. And that's what Bev does for me, or I'm caught up in an appointment like I was before, and I could send a message through to Bev, hey, can you let Michael know or Dennis know I'm going to be late or whatever. All of those sort of things is what we use an executive assistant for. Now, I guess, Michael, after the meeting has been done and there's action points that need to be done, that executive assistant has now been handed like a baton to run with and go and get those things done. It's the post work. It's getting emails out to those people. They need responses, making sure those responses happen, to make sure that the deliverables have occurred. But the other issue we have, Michael, and the amount of emails going out these days, you use the word numb before. People are numb. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think there's so many platforms and products out there which have automated so much of our time that people are numb. They're desensitized by having an SMS reminder, an email reminder. But we're very thirsty for human interaction. Humans want to speak with other humans. They don't want to interact with a text message ordinarily, right? And if they're getting a delayed message from an airline, a delayed message from a real estate agency, not able to book, not able to turn up to an event, or that's how they're communicated with, there's a less chance, lower probability that they're going to engage with that message that you've sent them. You're just a dime a dozen. Picking up the phone, saying, hey, Michael's late to this meeting. He's still currently in a meeting with Darren. He won't be long. Just wanted to keep you updated. Right. And if that person says, hey, I can't, it's going to push my other meetings back, let's reschedule, they can reschedule then and there. But once the meeting is done, Darren, having Ina be 100% in control of all the actionable tasks that had to occur in that meeting means that I don't have to worry about it. She's now telling me what I need to do. Michael, I need this bit of content from you. Michael, I've sent this off already. Michael, I put this in the Dropbox. And then an email is sent out to the client saying, hey, this is in your folder. This has been done. This is there. We'll see you in our next meeting.
How's Ina's English skills?
100%. Darren, every single person that we hire has exceptional English.
They do.
Right? I know there are agencies out there and they offer things like non-English and English-speaking VAs. All of our VAs and EAs are able to pick up the phone. But like our EAs, we recruit them because they are human, right? They are so flexible in their nature. They have they make jokes, they cry, they have family, they like food, they like going out for dinner, they like, and we're in the Philippines at the moment. We went out for dinner with our team last night, and I just love them, right? Because they're not stiff, right? They bend.
Well, they're correct, and they're certainly very, they're treated with value. Now, also for people out there, Michael, that think that an executive assistant's not going to work with their time zone, how do you respond to that?
The time zone's not a problem. We cater, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand, and we have different teams that accommodate each time zone. And so your EA would just fall into that time zone. So if you're in New Zealand, they would start at your time. We've never had that as a problem. To be fair, Philippines is only 2 hours behind, or 4 hours behind, New Zealand and Australia, but WA clients, they're on the same time zone.
No, well done. So look, everyone, chat to Michael about Ina. I guess, again, she's still going through her training period at the moment under Michael. And have a chat to Michael about that, and anyone else that may also be in the pipeline to be recruited at the moment as well. Just reach out to Michael at unbusychat.com. That's unbusychat.com. Now, also, if you want up to 30 tasks that you can successfully outsource to a virtual assistant to offload your property manager to make them unbusy, then go to teamsbydesigntasks.com. That's teamsbydesigntasks.com and download that list there, and that will give you the 30 things. In fact, Michael, over a number of years, with 650 property size rent roll, had only one full-time property manager and one part-time property manager over 650 properties, because 80% of the workload was done by virtual assistants. So this list is really the list that Michael employed extensively to make sure that he was maximizing the use of a virtual assistant. So they can do amazing things. Executive assistants can do amazing things. So make sure you reach out to Michael. But Michael, thanks so much for your time. And I reckon, and I've got a good idea here, but I think next time we need to bring Ina into the next podcast episode. So that
sounds like an excellent idea, Darren. Let's do that.
Yep. All right. Take care, everyone. And we'll see you in the next episode.